We were talking
Uh,
about destinations, right?
mm-hmm.
And obviously, like Orlando and Orlando's mentioned, Houston and San Antonio, and these kind of organizations, kind of like young organizations, and I always say like Rich Paul, and we know who Rich Paul's synonymous with, right? The two boys in LA. So we just assume like the Lakers would be something that he could really entertain. But this clip is Sham Sharma kind of talking about how De'Aaron Fox isn't really interested in going to LA.
Ooh. Okay, let's take a listen
Yeah.
to it.
Thing I can say with Rich Paul, we know he's got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the Lakers. I'm told the Lakers are not part of that destination of choice for De'Aaron Fox potentially, but he is now potentially entering the NBA's trade market.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So he
The
killed the
Lakers
bud
lose out
before, like,
again.
yeah. I mean,
Yo,
dude,
the
this is
Lakers.
crazy
Oh
because
my
he
God.
didn't even like his people, like Rich Paul's people, like since what 2018, we've heard like, oh, Rich Paul's like tightly connected with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, whatever conspiracies, right? And it's just crazy how the first thing they do is tell the media like scratch the Lakers name off the list. And I think I'm not trying to go side track,
Mm-hmm.
but from what I've seen, right, I also saw a rumor that Anthony Davis wants a center on the team. So it seems like there is a little bit of frustrations with the Lakers organization. It seems like not from LeBron's end, but probably like Paul's clients.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah. So Anthony Davis, I think he sat down with Shams, I believe,
Yeah,
and he's been doing interviews. Well, clips have been dropping all throughout social media throughout the week, and yeah, it seems like you're right. He has a bit of frustration with the way the Lakers are constructed, the way they are right now. And Shams, once again, he's made his name by being a great I don't want to say like a great reporter with player relations instead of front
he's done the
office
TMZ route.
relations.
Yeah,
Not really. He kind of did more of the player relationship route instead of like the front office route. Like Woj is
like
more
Woj was more
yeah,
front
front
office.
office guys.
Yeah,
Shams is more like the player guy.
yeah.
They trust him. They trust him a lot. Woj, I don't know if they trusted him like that. He just had front office connects.
I think it's just a generational thing, right? Where Woj a lot older, so his connections with the front office made a lot more sense. Where Sham is younger and he's really made his bones when the player empowerment and all that stuff was happening.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's interesting you saying that. So a bit of frustration in LA. I never thought of it like that. But the
yeah.
Lakers, once again, AD, he's never been that guy that wants to bang down low for a whole 82 games because the way AD plays, he's real aggressive, but he's real kind of sometimes clumsy. You know what I mean? Like the
He
way he
wants. Yeah.
lands when he's coming down, after dunking the ball or even getting a rebound or even blocking a shot. AD
Yeah.
sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I always thought he played like a point guard, or like a guard. The way he
He
jumps
played like a
around and
shooting guard.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
way he lands on the floor. I'm like, yo, you're not small, but
Yeah.
it's just AD. He has every right to be kind of frustrated in LA because at the end of the day, they made a whole ordeal just to get Bronny when they could have
I
drafted
think that
something.
too, but it's always been something he's always been hesitant on since like New Orleans. Like he's always preferred to play that four position, right? And his frustrations like I'm forced to play the five.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, LeBron, this is what we were talking about last time when I said the Lakers are always going to be in a predicament because LeBron is listed as their power forward in their starting lineup, but every time
Yeah.
on offense, he plays the
He's a
point
point guard.
guard. So imagine
Yeah.
if AD now is listed at power forward, that means they're going to list LeBron as small forward and they're going to have a center. And on offense, AD is going to be power forward, center.
It's gonna be stagnant.
Yeah, and then LeBron's gonna be listed at point guard, and then whoever's the shooting guard, and someone's gonna have to shift. Like it's gonna be a weird. It's just not how LeBron plays. LeBron has to have three other shooters around him.
Yeah.
It's just
And
always
Anthony
worked
Davis
like
kind
that.
of stuck. The problem is Anthony Davis is no Dirk Nowitzki where he's gonna knock down like threes consistently too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Super interesting insight you kind of gave there with AD showing a
I
bit
think
frustration on the lineups.
I think even LeBron. I think it was both camps. Like the LeBron camp also said they're kind of tired of like how the organization has handled the roster structures. I could be wrong, but I know the Anthony Davis one was the most noteworthy because obviously like they're kind of putting Vucevic's name next to the Lakers and Jonas Valanciunas and kind of like those available big guys.
Yeah, the only thing with LeBron, I wish he is a bit more specific when he speaks on the roster construction, because the Lakers did kind of start off in a hole because he wanted Westbrook on the team. So if they're
Yeah.
lacking and then you wanted your son on the team now, you got to say, hey, where were there opportunities to get the needs that you wanted? Because I'm curious on that. Like, where were those opportunities?
Yeah, and I also find it interesting that it's Anthony Davis speaking out, right? Because LeBron in his history, you look at LeBron and kind of like how he's kind of like bullied teams, right? It's always been like kind of like media, like he's going to the media and he tells them like to the press. He does the whole transparency, whether people like it or not. But this past few seasons, there's not much of a transparency with how he wants his roster to be, constructed. Like he had a lot of you remember early on in the Spoelstra and LeBron era where he's like, man, I want Pat Riley to coach me because he was insisting that Pat Riley should be the head coach of the Miami Heat. And when you look at when you look at Cleveland, the 2017 season, when LeBron went to the media and he said, I want another ball handler. I need a point guard. And the Cleveland Cavaliers went ahead and signed Darren Williams, who
Yeah,
was coming
DeAaron
off a
Williams,
buyout deal with the Dallas Mavericks.
low key, they're
Yeah.
trying to trade Kyrie for Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, Kyrie for Eric Bledsoe. That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm not
that was
gonna lie.
ridiculous. I know.
I'm not gonna lie, because Bledsoe like 3 years later was out the league. And then who else, man? I mean, there's a lot of examples. The whole construction with LeBron's roster and kind of LeBron saying this is a team. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So like LeBron has been very vocal in how teams are built. But with the Lakers, you see him kind of take like a much more relaxed stance, which makes sense because he's a lot older and he's not competing with the top guys. But Anthony Davis, who's what, 30 years old, he's looking at it. He's like, man, like I can
he's
still
wasting his
compete.
prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I'm like, man, the Lakers been kind of quiet despite them being trash. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much of a loud voice in LA. It's like, man, what are we doing?
And
So
interesting
this
enough,
is like the first season they're getting pushback.
And interesting enough, you said AD. Well, interesting you mentioned AD with that situation, because he also talked about how the hell Wemby is Defensive Player of the Year. He kind of was like trying to throw his name in the hat, like I'm killing it too. Like it's almost like AD is trying to put himself out there.
And I think also what's pissing him off is I also think what's gonna piss him off more is the fact that he's not an all-star starter. Despite I could argue having a better season than LeBron James and even Kevin Durant.
Yeah, it's interesting. The coaches and the players
They have the media.
Yeah, and the media.
The media, the fans, everyone. They don't view Anthony Davis up to par with
the top
to
players
par with like Jokic and even Embiid. I'm gonna be honest, like they have Karl Anthony Towns at this point in that par.
You know what? I never thought of it like that. They did all of a sudden jump him ahead of AD. Nobody saw that coming. Had you said that last year, people would view Cat as a better player.
He would have been painted as stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. They would have been like, man, what the fuck are you on about?
Now,
now Karl Anthony Towns is like a top 3 center in the league.
Yo, you know what's so crazy? What if now AD is realizing the eventual LeBron James trap when you play with him? Because we've seen D Wade kind of go through it.
But D Wade, there was a difference though, because D Wade was like, at that point, like his prime was what, 2005 to 2009, 10, 11, right?
No, he still was in his prime. Probably the first 2 seasons in Miami. He was still in his prime, but the only thing he was struggling with
injuries.
Was with the limelight of LeBron was so bright when he went to Miami That's when D Wade started dressing up with the showing off the ankles. When you see an NBA player start to dress up a lot, they're trying to get attention. When they all of a sudden dressing crazy, like,
but dude, he played with Shaq. Like, I don't know. Like
he
for
did,
me,
but
I
he
think
wasn't
Wade.
wearing those ankle outfits. Like, he started dressing crazy when LeBron came through because
Yeah, but
that
also I think
spotlight
that
was no
sense of
longer on
fashion.
him.
I think the sense of fashion changed too with hip hop culture and like, you know, with like, you remember like the leather skirts where everyone used to go crazy about, and kind of like skinny jeans and all that stuff. You kind of saw like a rise, and I think Wade was kind of ahead of that. But I think like his peak, like if we're speaking, is like what 2009 where he was a Flash. Like his Flash era was where he was peak. Where like in Dallas, like he was great in the 2011 run, and if Dallas won, he would have been Finals MVP. I think we all agree on that. Oh my bad.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
that.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But all I'm saying is that when you
Yeah.
do play with LeBron, there is his star power in the league, especially with the media, is so
I'll say
big.
it's more to do with Bosch. I think Bosch took a hit.
No, you take a hit. Wade took a hit. Even Kyrie. Everyone talked about Kyrie to a different level. As soon as LeBron came through, Kyrie was like now the sidekick.
Yeah, Kyrie
LeBron's
automatically
star
becomes
was
the sidekick.
huge. It's huge. It's undeniable. His star power in the league with the magnitude with the media, it's huge, man. And I'm telling you, Dwayne Wade, Mr. Miami himself, he had to step aside, man. Remember how him and LeBron always talk about that first season? They kept on clashing. Then Wade was like, "Yo, let me step to the side." Like he swallowed his pride for that. Cause I remember him saying in an interview, Wade said that, hey, it killed him to do that. It killed him to step to the side.
But he also
like
started
that.
dealing with injuries too. So like Wade at that time, it only made sense because by 2014, Wade was no longer viewed as that same player anymore.
But he wasn't viewed like that in 2013. He stepped to the side.
Yeah, in 2013, I think it was kind of like you saw like a decline in play where like 2010 Wade is different from like 2013 Wade due to like
he had to be different. He had to be different.
Yeah,
because remember, look,
he had to be different. But I also think like Wade was the best shooting guard at that point. We can all agree on that, right? Like up to like what 2000, I'll say like 2011 to like 2013, Wade was like the best shooting guard in the world. Like in my opinion, he was better than Kobe. James Harden wasn't that player yet, but he also had like a lot of his feet problems, like his leg problems, like the ACL and all those mileage adds up.
I would say his downhill really started 2013 after the back-to-back. Because
that's when like you saw the mileage add up.
Yeah, but the thing is, you look at LeBron's first year in Miami, Dwayne Wade was the best player in the finals. The numbers speak for itself. Dwayne Wade was the best player in the Dallas Mavericks finals.
If Dirk didn't go ape shit, D Wade would have another Finals MVP in his trophy case.
So it's like he just didn't all of a sudden fall from grace. But I'm talking about that after that second season, like after they lost the finals, that's when Wade said, "Hey, LeBron, you're the guy.
It's your team.
I'm stepping down." That's Wade, because people mistake that for like a fall off. No, he said it. He stepped down. LeBron, you got the key.
I'm not saying he fell off, but I'm saying it's like Wade realized he was no longer that first option as he once was in that time period.
I personally don't think it's that. I just think it wasn't going to work with LeBron and his play style. It's just not. It's not gonna work. The only person I would say to make it work that way, where the person could kind of do them, is Kyrie Irving. People don't give
Anthony
Kyrie.
Davis makes it work. To be honest with you,
people don't give Kyrie that credit. Kyrie is so gifted. He actually kind of did him while LeBron was on the team. Like he still did the razzle dazzle. He had LeBron just standing there looking. Like why do we all think LeBron gave him the ball in Game 7 to seal the game? LeBron James stood to the side and watched Kyrie do him.
But you look at natural game, right? Like a natural game, and like you just watch him fluidly. Anthony Davis is like that best fit because like Wade and Kyrie kind of demand the ball. With Anthony Davis, he doesn't really want the ball like that.
Yeah, he's not really. You got to feed him.
He's not like
you got to
give me the ball and let me do my thing. He's more of a I want to be set up with the pick and roll. I want to be set up in the post, all that stuff. So he fits with LeBron, but I think maybe because I don't know. I think the conversation behind like off-ball players or maybe Anthony Davis, it could be the injuries, but it's changed a lot. in regards of his reputation. Because Anthony Davis in the New Orleans Pelicans was viewed as the best player in the world. 2020 was viewed as the best player. I mean, 2020, like in the Pelicans, was viewed as like the best big man in the world.
Yo, he's
I
the
remember
first
he won.
overall pick, just like LeBron. But that's what happens when you team up with LeBron. Your star power disappears. Like all these first overall pick guys have ego. Kyrie,
But
after a while, he had ego. He left LeBron.
You think the rise of Jokic and Giannis kind of played into it? Because I'll even argue, like, before Giannis became a star, we all thought the league was going to be Anthony Davis's.
No, I didn't really think. I didn't think AD was alpha enough. But the only thing with AD,
but the media wanted Anthony Davis to be like remember like 2K16 used a cover and he was like he was on the Olympics his rookie year, like not even his rookie. He hadn't even played an NBA game. He was on the Olympics team.
Yeah, but it was
the
something
league was
about
propping him up to be like the future.
Okay, I can give you the perfect example. You remember after they won the championship? I would say 2 seasons after they won the championship, the first 2 years after they won it, everybody was waiting for AD to take over. He just never did. And remember all those memes with AD in the wheelchair? Like once those seasons went by in LA, and LA is the worst place to like kind of not be available or just you kind of stinking it up. It's just AD.
It's not New Orleans.
But AD just kind of lost that status, man. I don't know how to explain it, but he just kind of lost that status. He went back to old AD, not healthy. What's the meme with him and he's like in a purple suit in the wheelchair? Yeah, it's like bro, he kind of lost that status, and it's hard trying to regain it back when you're sitting behind LeBron James.
Bro, but I also make an argument. I think I think a rise of Giannis kind of like took that conversation out of the gate, because I think when Giannis rose to stardom, right? We weren't looking at Anthony Davis like once Giannis like beat him out completely. We didn't look at Anthony Davis the same way. Like back then, everyone wanted to have that conversation. So I think that also probably changed a lot of the narratives in people's minds. It's like he was never Giannis, because now it's becoming Giannis's league.
Yeah, true.
Because Giannis is the most popular player in the
rise.
NBA. He's the most popular player in the NBA. The All-Star vote showed that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I'm saying like that's what's kind of like changed kind of the view on Anthony Davis too. I think the rise of like Giannis becoming a superstar.
Yeah, it did. You're right, because that forward position, and like you said with the All-Star voting, yeah, it's kind of showing it. But
it's like since 2020, 2021, you've seen a huge change in the conversation around them, where like you remember that people were dogmatic on Anthony Davis being better, but like now you kind of like viewed stupid if you say the opposite. Like if you say like Anthony Davis is better now, like people are just gonna look at you like you're stuck in 2019.
Yeah.